election. Twitter and other social media sites are so overrun with bots and AI slop that they do not represent public opinion anymore. Stunting on the hose online cannot help. It can only hurt. Ed Gallerin is already using anti-Semitic Firefest clips to attack Thomas Messi. Oh, he's talking about that America First Fest, right? That thing. I think he's talking about that. I don't really know what's up with that, what kind of op that was, what the situation was. Vivek himself realized how damaging his ex-posts were to political ambition, so he got off social media to focus on retail campaigning. This is why he won. 3, stop talking about Jews. Well, I don't know. If you're a Democrat, that seems very effective. Israel, pro or anti, is not an important issue for the kinds of voters you need to win in a Republican primary. I agree with this. I know that there are valid criticisms to have of Israel. There are criticisms worth having, discussions worth having, but regular everyday people don't think about it and don't care about it. You don't win elections with that. I guess unless you're a Republican. I'm sorry, a Democrat. Unless you're a Democrat. It's possible that it's because you're a Democrat and you can you can run on that. But it's interesting to me that ultimately this is not what's driving people to the voter booth. It's not driving voter behavior. It drives a lot of online behavior. It's weird, but I don't think it matters. I mean, it matters, but I don't think it really drives elections. I don't think it really drives votes. Mouthing off about how much you hate Israel cannot help the Republican primary. Again, it can only hurt because you look like a deranged moron to people who actually vote, and you take away valuable space that could be used to talk about important issues where you shine. Casey Push should have been known for his anti-immigration stance and his ambitious plans to revamp Ohio's infrastructure. Instead, he's known for palling around with hijabis and treating ChatGPT like an anti-Semitic magic 8-ball. Before anyone responds with Casey Push is an idiot influencer, of course he was going to lose, I have 2 words: Brendan Herrera. Herrera, like Puch, is a YouTuber. Unlike Puch, Herrera won his primary and is almost certainly going to be elected to the House. What's the difference? Herrera did not campaign by camping out on Twitter to stunt on them Jewish hoes. He hit the campaign trail. He made friends and allies in local GOP organizations, focused his messaging on how he wanted to help his constituents and what he planned to do in office. Herrera also did not turn on Trump, and now he has Trump's endorsement. Learn from Brendan Herrera. It's hard. I admit I have no real idea who this individual, I'm unfamiliar with Casey Puch. Is he an online influencer? I've never heard of him. Is he a YouTuber? I don't know. I would argue he's obviously less popular. He's less popular than, for example, Brendan Herrera is. He's kind of a household name, at least with people who are online, I feel confident predicting that this is the beginning of the end for the retard right. Thomas Massie, James Fishback, Dan Bilzerian will all lose their primaries, and the retarded anti-Zionist element will be purged from the right forever. It has no constituency, as Casey Puch's landslide defeat shows. Well, he did get some votes. It's not that he didn't get any votes. And I don't, chat, do you think, do people actually think that Thomas Massie is going to lose? I don't think so. I don't think that. I mean, I guess 1, if you think he's going to lose, 2, if you think he's not going to lose. 1, if you think Massie will actually lose. I mean, he is so entrenched. It's hard to believe that he would actually get voted out. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. I don't think he gets voted out. I mean, Puch losing, that's not Thomas Massie losing. Thomas Massie is entrenched. He has his local voters. His voters like him. I would be shocked. Now, some of these other people that are trying to kind of run on the kind of the retard right positions, they will not win their primaries. Just won't happen. It just won't happen. The best part is they ruin themselves by not knowing when to shut up. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Weak Republican Indiana state senators who refuse to redistrict dropping like flies. Trump-endorsed candidates winning in landslides. We're still waiting on SD 23, but I don't know. I mean, if they lose there too, it'll probably be bad. You know, and how many more of these people's, you know, how many more of these people will lose? I don't know. You know, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. Now we've got some other topics to talk about. Am I doing a Mother's Day box? No, not this year. I can't do the CBC Mother's Day boxes because Amazon takes 30%. And that's more than my entire profit margin. That's more than the entire profit margin. So it sucks because we sold a lot of them. We sold thousands of them every year. But if I ship them, then they would work. If I ship them all, then they would work. That's basically it. So Amazon works great for the single bag coffee, but for a big box like the Mother's Day box, I would have to ship them. And then that would be, that way. Why don't I just ship them? Yeah, I mean, that's something I looked at this year. It is an option. Massey 78% to win on Kyle. He'll win easily. I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, if he got outed, I think I would be really, really, really surprising. But let's talk about this. So today is an interesting day because it's not just Ilhan Omar that is now facing some serious repercussions for refusing to turn over documents linked to $250 million in fraud, perhaps billions of dollars in total fraud. But Tim Walz is also very concerned as the wheels of justice may finally be spinning a little bit, like just a little bit faster than normal. I know a lot of people feel like, well, nothing's ever going to happen to Ilhan. I mean, look what's happening now. The Democrats inside of Minnesota are basically refusing to, do their part. The same people that have been complaining about, you're not above the law, this, that, and the other thing, sure seem not to be worried about Ilhan Omar being above the law. Now, this is Trump aboard Air Force One. President Trump calls for Ilhan Omar to be expelled from Congress. There are many clips, but Tim Walz's Minnesota is now under federal investigation by fraud czar and Vice President J.D. Vance. Minnesota is under investigation by our great vice president. They're finding a lot, and they deserve prison. This is a short clip from President Trump.
And as you know, Tom Emmer is the House Majority Whip, and he's a fantastic person, real leader. Comes from an interesting place, a place that's under investigation by our great vice president. They're finding a lot, and Tom Emmer was one of the biggest complainers about what was going on in Minnesota and lots of other places. I also want to say a special thank you to the many moms among our fantastic, and as you know, Tom.
I mean, there are now surging calls for federal subpoenas against Somali Representative Ilhan Omar after Minnesota Democrats blocked a state-level subpoena for her likely involvement in the fraud scandal. Do I think they are ever going to connect dollars in and dollars out to Ilhan Omar? Probably not. Probably not. It's probably not. But I hope so. I hope so.
Hi, Harris. Democratic Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar did not meet the deadline to produce documents and communications with defendants from that massive Feeding Our Future scandal, and she doesn't have to. The Minnesota House Committee on Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight made the unprecedented move of trying to subpoena Omar to produce the records. That subpoena required a 2/3 vote of the committee, and the vote failed 5-3, with the vote falling strictly on party lines. Every Republican voted in favor of the subpoena. Every Democrat voted against.
Yeah.
There's an investigation to be had, and this is a subpoena for the information. If there's nothing to be found here, then there's no problem issuing this subpoena. So let's bring light to the darkness.
Part of the reason that I was resisting the subpoena is the lack of confidence that it would be used, that any information we get would be used to gain actual insights. And in fact, just the opposite, that the activities in the committee have tended to prioritize, in my view, political theater and not going after fraud.
I mean,
Omar championed the 2020 Meals Act, which removed guardrails on COVID relief money. And Republicans say it opened the gates for the program to be exploited to the tune of $250 million. Meals were billed to taxpayers and never delivered. Now, evidence in the trial for Amy Bach, convicted as the ringleader in Feeding Our Future scandal, showed multiple communications with Omar and her office. However, back in January, Bach told our Alexis McAdams there were no substantive communications with Representative Omar.
I mean, I think that the stuff with Omar is, again, is she hiding it? What is she hiding? She probably didn't have to take money directly from anybody. But here she is promoting the Safari restaurant, sorry. The very owner was convicted in the Feeding Our Future form. I mean, she promoted it.
horta aad iyo aadaan ugu faraxsanahay in maanta safaari aan soo gaarnay sida dadka badan ay u og yihiin ciyaalkeena yaryar ilaa iyo number la eg 20 milyan oo ciyaal iskooley ah waxay cuntadooda ka helaan iskoolka kaliyo.
What?
Marka waxaan fursad u helnay.
English, do you speak it? English, please. But again, we also have Tim Walz. Tim Walz got caught panicking. He has now demoted the chief of Minnesota agency that oversees taxpayer welfare disbursement, massive fraud, but is refusing to fire her. The fraudsters are still in charge. Walz wants everyone to believe a demotion means he brought, quote, accountability. They should all resign and face criminal investigation. That's one of my big problems with this, quote unquote, justice stuff. People are just getting allowed to quit their jobs and not face any actual criminal charges. I don't like that. You know, I don't like, and by the way, the same thing is true on the right. The same thing is true on the right. We have, you know, Kristi Noem just like Kristi Noem just gets to, I don't know, quit her job and not face any investigation whatsoever. Representative Robbins says, well, it's just massive gaslighting. Do we have video here? We have video.
Much to do with this, but the Minnesota Governor, Tim Walz, removed and reportedly demoted the temporary head of the state agency that oversees disbursement of social services program funding like Medicaid and housing assistance. And the Department of Human Services commissioner was booted from her leadership role yesterday. But get the timing. Just one day before she was set to face an official confirmation hearing, which was being described as a gauntlet. Your reaction?
Well, it's just massive gaslighting. So she was not going to get confirmed. So he demoted her and promoted into the commissioner position a gentleman who, God bless him, is not here. He's on medical leave. So she's still actually in charge. So him taking credit for demoting her is just pure gaslighting. She is still here at the end of the session doing all the negotiations, running the department. It's a disgrace.
Representative Robbins, then what political, I don't know, benefit is it to say that I've demoted the person who was in charge of funding and blah?
Well, I mean, you say that in hopes that, you know, people just, I don't know, pat you on the back, I guess. You say that in hopes that people will move on. Oh, well, I just demoted this person. So, investigation closed. Everything's happy here. Everything's good here.
Blah, 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 blah. If she's still on the job.
I don't know. I think he thinks he can gaslight the public. She is still the main person in charge. And she's been there through all of this. Before she was promoted to acting commissioner, she was the chief compliance officer. She has been in the thick of this for years. And we need accountability, and he should have fired her. And no one has been fired under Tim Walz. He still, after all this hearings, reports, whistleblowers, he still has not made any attempt for real accountability.
I mean, this is kind of the way they move. This was, last night they moved to have, Ilhan Omar subpoenaed, but because there's a 5-3 majority of Democrats on this committee, the Democrats simply just said, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to bring in Ilhan Omar to answer questions about the obvious fraud that she's taking part in. This again, refusing to hand over communications to the Minnesota House Fraud Committee. I mean, why isn't the federal government stepping in? Why isn't the federal government moving in and saying, all right, enough? Like, okay, Minnesota's obviously covering for this. All right, well, how about this?
Squad Democrat Ilhan Omar closing in on a deadline set by Minnesota Republicans to turn over documents about potential ties to a state fraud ring after she dodged a hearing last month. Our senior correspondent Mike Tobin is reporting live out of Chicago. He's got the latest details for us. Hey, Mike.
And Sandra, that deadline is today for Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to turn over documents and communication tied to defendants in that massive Feeding Our Future scandal. The Minnesota House Committee on Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight is holding its last meeting of the legislative session today. However, the committee does not have enough votes to subpoena the Congresswoman, so the committee doesn't have a legal mechanism to compel Omar to cooperate. The chair of the committee has sent Omar multiple invitations and requests for documents. Omar does not respond. Omar now sponsored the 2020 Meals Act, which removed the guardrails on COVID relief money and helped the fraud run up to $250 million. Despite that, the chair of the Fraud Prevention Committee does not anticipate the Minnesota congressman will respond by the deadline.
Yeah, of course.
It shows her continued disdain for the taxpayers. She feels like she's above having to answer for her involvement in the fraud and her responsibility as a member of Congress who, she passed the bill that took the guardrails off the school nutrition program that led to the conditions that enabled Feeding Our Future.
Now, Amy Bach was convicted as the mastermind of the Feeding Our Future.
The whole thing, is wild when it's all right there in the open for people to see the amount of fraud that was going on. Sure, they got some low-level people, but all the people in government that benefited from this, whether directly or indirectly, a lot of their benefits could have been indirect in that they just got large campaign donations from people who were, bleeding off this money. I don't think people are I think Ilhan Omar is stupid, but I don't think she's so stupid that she would just take a cash payment from these people who are defrauding the government. The money is going to be more covered up, whether it's going to be campaign donations or whatever the case may be. I mean, Tim Walz was in charge during all of this, and all we really got was him saying, well, I guess I'm not going to run for re-election. We've got no criminal charges, no real investigation, no real anything. Like, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. How much of this maybe was tied to the winery? I don't know. But I'm happy to see that we're seeing some improvement, some movement towards this, and it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Well, a huge shout out to this video sponsor, Venice AI. Look, Sam Altman recently announced that ChatGPT can now reference all of your past conversations. Do you feel comfortable knowing that an AI platform has access to all of your thoughts, dreams, sensitive questions, business ideas, etc.? What are they even doing with it? All sorts of crazy stuff is going on. I mean, Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. Meta retargets us based on our browsing and engagement history. why do we assume that AI is going to be any different at all? That's why I always use Venice.ai. Venice.ai lets you use AI without handing over your sensitive information. Venice AI has an open source AI model. It utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your web browser. There are no downloads, no installation, nothing. It also has insane privacy and it's permissionless. They don't spy on you or censor the AI. Messages are encrypted, so your conversation history is only stored in your browser. AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't need to give up our privacy to use it. The Venice Pro plan unlocks the full platform and features, including PDF uploads for summaries or insights, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation, the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image limits. You can use Venice.ai for a whole bunch of different things. You can actually go down here. You can choose between text. You can have it do video. You can have it, well, let's just go to text and we'll take the GLM 4.6. Let's just ask it, the famous questions. Are there chemicals in the water that are turning the friggin' frogs gay? Okay, let's see here. Already gave me an answer. The claim that chemicals are turning the frogs gay is a popular conspiracy theory often cited by Alex Jones. Research has shown that certain chemicals, such as atrazine, can interfere with this stuff. You can have all sorts of fun. What Venice does is lets you, if you want to generate an image, you can say this and say, a gay frog. If you're going to make the thumbnail, you can have, I don't know what it's going to come up with, but you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. You get good at writing the prompts, and well, it is a frog, and it is kind of colorful. A frog wearing a pride flag. Let's see if that can get a little more specific. You're really, really unlimited, and you can do whatever you want, and it's not tracking it, which is good. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Exactly what I like to see. If you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or the government, you can get 20% off of the Pro plan using my link, venice.ai/quartering and code quartering. All right. Now, the next segment I had was also an interesting topic. Mamdani. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, here we go. Interesting stuff coming out of New York City because, well, Mamdani has basically already burned through all of his potential goodwill. People are still getting, having to get attacked on the streets. People are, continuing to see high prices. The communists that voted for him aren't getting the free groceries. The grocery stores, he said that he would, the grocery stores that he was going to deliver to all his commie viewers or his commie voters never happened. Turns out they're going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer funding. He's trying to keep running with this idiotic idea that, well, we'll just tax the ultra rich. We'll just tax the ultra rich. Well, that doesn't work. That hasn't worked in a long time because what happens is the ultra rich, they have ultra rich attorneys or accountants. So when you say as a state, we're going to tax the rich, and the rich are telling people openly, well, we're just going to leave the state. This stuff doesn't work. Like right now, Zohran Mamdani's approval rating has hit a new low of just 43%. Now, that isn't exactly 10%. That isn't exactly 10, 15%, but 43% still approve. So that kind of tells you how bad, the city really is. And ultimately, now the New York Police Department is turning on him. The NYPD captain is transferred after calling Mamdani total nonsense. I don't really understand why or how he's the one that's getting, he's getting punished for having an opinion. But I mean, I thought all these guys were supposed to be replaced by social workers anyway. A New York police captain was transferred to a less prominent role, so he got demoted on Tuesday after a video began circulating that showed him, while on duty, calling Mayor Zoran Mamdani expendable and an embarrassment of total nonsense. The Captain James G. Wilson was moved to Communications Division from his position as an executive officer of the 94th Precinct, which covers the Greenpoint section of Brooklyn, according to an internal police document and police spokesperson. A disciplinary process has begun for Captain Wilson, whose comments violated the police department's ban on expressing political opinions about a political party while on duty, a police spokesperson said. Now, I wonder if he had said, hey, Mamdani's great, socialism's great. Do we think he would have been fired? No, of course not. The video posted on Monday to an Instagram account until freedom was taken on Saturday night in Bushwick. Let's see if we can see the video. Probably not. Brooklyn, according to law enforcement officers with knowledge of the incident, it was near where 200 protesters had gathered outside of a hospital to stop immigration and customs enforcement agents from taking an immigrant who was a patient there. Many of the protesters were clashing with police, leading to 8 arrests and accusations that the department was helping ICE. City law bars police officers from helping ICE conduct immigration enforcement. We had no prior awareness or coordination regarding the ICE operation that took place, the police said in a statement on Sunday. A spokesperson for Mr. Mamdani declined to comment on the video. The mayor, formerly a critic of the police department, has been careful to not anger the rank and file since taking office. During the mayoral campaign, he apologized for having called the department racist, anti-LGBTQ, and a major threat to public safety in 2020 when he was running for assemblyman in Queens. But some union leaders questioned Mr. Mamdani's sincerity. Well, Mr. Mamdani needs, he needs to have his police protection. Who was out in front of Mamdani's house protecting it when a fellow worshiper, a fellow Muslim, decided, hey, I want to, I need to throw these incendiary devices. He seemed pretty happy that the police were there then. In the video, Captain Wilson is one of many police and supervisors standing in the street near Wyckoff Heights and Medical Center. The video opens with the captain saying, he's temporary, he's expendable, he's temporary. Who's Mamdani? Someone off camera says, he's your boss. Nah, he's total nonsense, Captain Wilson said. He's an embarrassment and total nonsense. A person off camera says, yo, you think your mayor is an embarrassment? Not my mayor, the captain replies slightly. I mean, if the left had said this, where they're saying, President Trump's not my president, all this kind of stuff, it seems odd to me. It seems odd to me that this particular guy, gets fired. Later in the 40-second video, still smiling, all Democrats know waste of human race. Whoa, what does that mean? All Democrats know waste of human race. I'm not really sure. Not sure what he meant there. That's what he's quoted for. That's what he's quoted for. Officers are prohibited from endorsing or publicly expressing personal views concerning the merit of any political party or candidate for public office, according to the department's administrative guide. How do we think, a beloved police officer getting removed from his post, how's that going to go over? Like, I don't really think that's going to go over very well. And by the way, then he went and filmed this creepy video in front of a rich guy's house talking about, I don't know, check this out.
On this show, we had John Katsomatidis. Here's what he had to say about Mayor Mamdani's tax the rich plans.
I said to him, you're on the edge of disaster or you're on the edge of success. And the middle class, the people that make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, they are the ones. The people that make a lot of money, well, they have an option. They get up and leave, or they get up and spend 181 days someplace else. But you can't destroy the real estate industry because in London, it's been destroyed already. It's been destroyed in London by the socialists. And if you do the same thing in New York City, that is a disaster.
Well, Pierre DeBass joins me now. He is the managing partner of the real estate law firm Roma DeBass, and joins me now. Pierre, Mandami's economic policies, are they a really serious, big threat to New York's real estate industry?
Well, he's not going to get it
Absolutely,
done.
because right now, the economic policy is limited to just taxing the rich, and it's not focusing on what's needed, which is economic stimulus, creating affordability, increasing supply of housing. There's no discussion of that whatsoever. So when you take the attack on the rich, you know, the most infamous line this week was, or last week was attacking Ken Griffin, who's luckily meeting with Governor Hochul today. And that's a prime example that if he
filmed in front of
departs
his
New York,
house,
which his former headquarters was in Chicago. He departed Chicago. A $6 billion building is planned in Midtown Manhattan for his company. If that plan does not take place and he relocates to a different area, imagine the millions upon millions of dollars of lack of economic stimulus from job creation of construction for the employees leaving, going to other states, paying income tax to other states. The tax the rich sentiment is creating such an anti-business sentiment in New York City. And that anti-business sentiment is only going to compound any future economic problems that we have, because there will be an exodus of companies and capital that leave the city.
What about the tax on pied-à-terres? You know, you've got a nice house in New York City. You go to live in Florida, they're still going to tax at a special rate your house that stays in New York City.
That's right.
Is that agreed to?
Yeah, between the mayor and Governor Hochul, yes, and I guarantee you that's going to be implemented. And the problem with that is that now the residential market in Manhattan has actually been strong this year. I would say year over year we're up about 10% in transactions.
Well, the people are just going to leave. There is this clip too. Ken Griffin vows to double down on Miami move.
The mayor of
Listen to this.
Pointed out that you had bought an apartment in New York, and he wanted you to pay a so-called pied-à-terre tax, even though you have employed thousands of people in New York. You're building a new building in New York. You're contributing a lot of tax.
They're just going to run them out.
Did that upset you?
What upset me was the personal attack. Like you were at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday, where they tried to assassinate the president, and not too far from where I live in New York is where they assassinated the CEO of United Healthcare.
Yep.
So I think the willingness of the mayor of New York to make this a policy debate, a personal attack, just demonstrated a profound lack of judgment. Just a profound lack of judgment. And I understand that New York has bills to pay. Would you like to run New York for us for a couple of years?
Yeah.
I'm unelectable, Kenny. Nobody would vote for me.
Yes, but like you could actually
be a distraction from running around.
Are you going to, Ken? You're going to go ahead with your building in New York?
Well, you know, I'm meeting with the governor Thursday.
Just for context, this is a guy who spends billions of dollars in New York, and Mamdani is targeting him, saying he's the bad guy, and he's just going to do what every rich guy does, and just says, I'm going to move. I'm going to move to Florida, and that's what he's going to do.
Okay, you'll figure it out.
And we'll talk about our future direction in New York. Here's the real question. Is New York going to put their fiscal house in order and run itself from a position of a strong government that's pro-business? Or are they looking to play, like why do the Americans think we can do socialism? Like, we have none of that in our DNA, and we're just going to screw it up.
Now, Ken,
I mean, it's weird that you have the NYPD hates him. He's going directly after the people that are hiring people, that are keeping the city together. This is one thing that, like, these commies never seem to be able to figure out, is like, okay, well, we're just going to run everybody out of town. We're just going to run all these, whack jobs that we hate, the people who are employing 2/3 of the state. We're just going to tax them and fix everything. But then they just move, and then they're left with a massive deficit, fewer jobs, and a disaster. This is where New York is heading, and it's heading much quicker than anyone thought. I think Mamdani very likely may be like a single term guy. He may face recall problems. I mean, if his own base starts turning on him, because he's not going to be able to deliver the stuff that he promised. He's not going to be able to deliver, state-run grocery stores. It's not going to happen. They don't have the money. They have billions of dollars in deficit in their budget as it stands right now. They're not going to be able to deliver it. It's so odd to me, but his downfall will be incredible to watch. Let's see. Grab this. Gotta upload this quick. So it's what? It's Wednesday today. We got a long week ahead of us. Thursday, Melanie will be back. Friday will be Lone Wolf Cast. And then I think HCB will be back from leadership camp next week, which will be great. Going to be great. Definitely. By the way, I'm going to see if I can test this. I don't know if this will work. I'm trying to test this from... Let's see. There we go. Shout out to All Right Parents, Real Talk. For a second, America is about to hit a huge milestone. We're coming up to America's 250th birthday, 250 years of freedom, grit, sacrifice, and the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen. This is the perfect moment to help your kids understand why this country matters, not just fireworks and hot dogs, but the story behind it. There's a free guide called The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday, and it's honestly a great way to introduce kids to how America began, who the founding fathers were, what they risked, and why their ideas that they fought for still matter today. This guide sends kids back to the moment when brave men signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well they were risking their lives for freedom. It breaks all down in a way kids can actually understand and enjoy without watering it down or turning it into boring schoolwork. If you care about raising kids who know where this country came from and why it's worth preserving, this is something you'll want to grab. And the best part is it's completely free with this special offer. You just need to pay $2 for shipping and processing. Head over to freeusabirthday.com. That's freeusabirthday.com. And the Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday is yours today for your kids. America's story matters. Make sure the next generation knows it. All right. So I was able to integrate that into the solo screen. That's cool. Enjoy that. Definitely love that. All right. Next topic. How's everybody's week going? It's early on a Wednesday. News is kind of light. I guess people who are investing in the stock market, they really, really like it. This stock market seems to be good. Can we get a Princess Tomato stream? I mean, it seems like that would be kind of fun. America's getting a saint. Father Seraphim Rose is being recognized as an Orthodox saint. I didn't know that. Shout out. Is it real, though? Is it real? Let's see if I've got some viewer comments from today. Let's see. Last night's election results prove the internet is not real. From Ryan, I agree with that. Local Wendigo says, I don't care about the Jews and the Muzzies killing each other. Funny stuff. Mustache Man was right. Yeah, I'd say that's true. Let's see. The Warrior Child, thank you. Very cool. Let's see. I think that's everything. Over on YouTube. Thanks. Always appreciate your shows. Hey, appreciate you. That's from Johnny, if I can read that correct. Yeah, it works pretty good. I guess it works pretty good this way. I'm kind of pumped for what Trump has cooking for America's 250th. Yeah, I hope there's some cool stuff going on. You know, I definitely say I hope that there's some cool stuff going on. I don't know if there's going to be stuff like locally. That's my question. Or is it all going to be like in DC? You know, if it's in DC or something like that, I'm hoping there's something like that goes on locally that, people can take part in, here in Wisconsin to celebrate it. And I hope gas prices are down by then too. Yeah. Yeah. Indoctrination says, I worked the polls in Ohio yesterday and there were a bunch of Dems voting for Casey. Glad it didn't work. Yeah, I agree. Sega says, market is flying. Cheers to more Green Days. I wish I had the fortitude to have stayed in. I just couldn't. I would get so stressed out about every time somebody would tweet or whatever the case may be, and I would lose a bunch of money, and I pussied out and had to get out of the market. Just had to. Like I couldn't do it. Are gaming streams irregular? Will there be one this week? Yeah, I think there will be. I might have to do... It'll be good. I haven't played... what's the game called? Crimson Desert. I haven't played it in a little while, so it'll be interesting to see kind of if I still remember all the controls. Do. It's definitely an interesting time this week. What happened to Mel and HCB? They're just, well, Mel is never here on Wednesdays, and HCB's got the week off. You know, that's the interesting. You should try out. You should try out some fun indie games. My thing is, like, I only play the games, like, I only get to play every once in a while, so starting over all the time, you know, I don't really know. Sorry, I'm waiting on the, waiting on a repairman. Something's up with our water. Tastes funny. All right, let's get back on track here. Play some Crimson Desert. Yeah, I do. I like that game a lot, but I haven't played it in like 2 weeks, and now I feel like I lost all my momentum. You know, so it's like if you don't play it, then I completed Crimson Desert last week, 557 hours. Wow, to 100% completion. That's crazy. Do stop LARPing as a gamer? Oh yeah, that's right. Everything I do is a LARP and fake. That's right. Just buy the S&P index. I know I should have. Yeah. I should have. Let me see here. I guess. Wait, 15 more. Because we put the dogs outside waiting for this guy to get here, and he said he was on the way like 20 minutes ago. I have not talked to Six lately, no. And somebody said that like he hasn't posted in a while. Is that true? That's concerning. If that's true, maybe I'll try to reach out to him. I haven't had much time to like watch videos lately. Isn't Six in jail? I don't know. I have no idea. No post for over a week. He has a warrant. Okay. Maybe he's serving his time. I don't know. I haven't heard. The last thing I heard is he was very sick. That's what I heard. That's the last thing I heard. Remember that liberal brewery in good old Minocqua, Wisconsin, in the middle of nowhere, an area where this far left liberal brewery owner would never have to live under the wild, you know, socialist communist ideas that he purports to believe in. He would never have to deal with any of the proper problems that come with that. Well, things have continued to get worse for him, and he continues to double and triple down, this time making another insane, demonic statement that he's getting massive backlash for. And he's also deciding he wants to run for governor in the state. And people are turning against him for that because they know he might detract votes away from the candidate that they actually want to have. His reviews on his website are wild. And I think he's had to, you know, he's only got a 54% recommended rate. Let's get into it. So let's start with this. He posted this out. If Rudy Giuliani kicks the bucket that he found at Four Seasons Landscaping, it's buy one, get one free beer day. I'm not really sure, like, this idea that, cheering for the passing of people that you don't like politically is very odd. Here he's like under the circumstances, we should have waited. They're going to post the Grim Leaker. So they're posting, they have Rudy Giuliani's beer. Here's the post in which he thought he was going to get a ton of, amazing, telling him he's stunning and brave. But if we just look at the all comments section, okay, keep stirring the pot, it should say, I wish it were. So take me back 18 hours to get home. All these people, all it's doing is actually making people hate him more. And these weird freaks keep getting, outing themselves. Have you no decency or shame? I just don't understand. Like, okay, you can not like Rudy Giuliani. I think most people from New York, when he was in charge there, feel like things were pretty good, and what he's doing is he's kind of virtue signaling to all these sicko leftoids. Like, Rudy Giuliani isn't even in power anymore, and you're cheering for his death. I just, these people are so sick, and they just say this stuff open. If Rudy and 47 go on the same day, is it free beer and shots? I don't really understand. I mean, he's deleting all the negative comments, of course. If you look at the way normal people are reacting to this, Kurt Bangstad is despicable, and now he's running for Wisconsin governor as a Democrat. Frances Hong is also running for governor. She donated to him back in 2020. The Minocqua Brewing Company made beer for Mandela Barnes, also running for governor. They all support the same agenda. So people are, digging in, finding this stuff out. I mean, look, when Trump said that stuff about Rob Reiner, for example, I think it's gross. I think it's gross. It's uncouth. To hit with like, well, Trump did it. Well, look, it was wrong when Trump did it, and it's wrong when this moron did it. What's wrong with this freak, and what are his, who are his patrons? His patrons are not people in Wisconsin. People here in Wisconsin hate this guy. The city has had to put out reports and statements to say, hey, this guy does not represent Wisconsin and does not represent our city, because he's single-handedly destroying tourism in Minocqua. And he's like, have you no decency or shame? And then he's like, oh, quiet, piggy. He's like, hey, guys, enough you didn't see my sick burn. And the Democrats are turning against him for taking votes away. Nobody's voting for this guy. Nobody is voting for this guy. Even the Democrats aren't ignorant enough to put this clown on the ballot. He's like, hey, now, they don't know how to do a pirouette any better than we do. I guess people are like, hey, attention is, all forms of attention are good, I guess. But if you look at let's just look at the recent reviews 13 minutes ago. Didn't like the atmosphere or beer. Bad vibe all around, just my opinion. Disgusting owner and establishment. Their beer tastes like diarrhea that comes out of Kirk's mouth. Absolutely disgusting place. Bugs, dirty silverware, rude bartenders. I wouldn't go back if they were giving their beer away for free. Slow service, long queues, rude bartenders, expensive drinks. Worst beer I've ever tasted. These are all in the last 24 hours. Wouldn't recommend this place to anyone, not even as a last resort. He claims to be progressive, while at the same time trying to steal the voice from the last best gubernatorial candidate, Francesca Hong. See, this is the funniest part. Francesca Hong is the Democrat candidate for governor in Wisconsin. So now he's said, well, I want to run for governor. So the very far leftoids that he really, really hopes were going to back him with his Trump bashing are actually mad at him for running for governor because it's going to be a close race. I, of course, really, really hope to see, Tom Tiffany win. And, we've been governed by Governor Evers in Wisconsin, who is a progressive, pro-lockdown, pro-mask, the one progressive thing he said he was going to do, which was legalize it, never did it. Every other state around me, it's legal. My state, not legal. Every single other state, it's legal. Not in Wisconsin, though. That's what he ran on. He never even delivered that. Went there before the controversy since they said they have good beer. Rather, the beer was overpriced and not high quality you would expect from a place like this. The waitstaff were preachy and arrogant. You just want to relax and have a tasty beer. I couldn't do either at this place, and I was done, one and done at this place. Now, obviously, I'm going to guess that most of these people are, just coming around lately to dunk on him. You see, Minocqua Brewing Company owner is running for governor. I love this. This is people don't understand how much of an epic win this is for Republicans in Wisconsin. They're going to be able to use this guy's unhinged, I hope Rudy Giuliani dies, I hope Trump dies post against the other Democrat, or the other Democrat is going to have to disavow him, which they're not going to do. And you have, the leftist brewery owner who promised free beer for Trump's assassination is running for governor. Here is this article. Let me grab this real quick from Town Hall. This is from Amy Curtis, written yesterday. The Wisconsin governor's race is well underway. And while Republicans have coalesced around Republican Representative Tom Tiffany, by the way, if you live in Wisconsin, Tom Tiffany, based, get out, vote, and support him, bring people with him. If you remember how quick Governor Evers was to lock us down and take away our freedoms, this woman is way worse. The Democratic primary is going to be ugly and brutal, but it will be entertaining because Kurt Bangstad, the leftist owner of Minocqua Brewing Company, has just thrown his hat in the ring. By the way, disgraced Minocqua Brewing Company owner has announced a run for governor.
Mind changed, and
look at all the people here.
We got this thing on live right now. I hope, is it still going? My mind changed, and I decided I'm not going to stand for this anymore, and I'm going to run for governor of Wisconsin.
Yeah! Okay, maybe there might have been 12 people there. There might have been 12 people. Simply incredible. Bangstad has been arrested and may have committed a serious crime by publishing the phone number of Secret Service agent who contacted him after he posted an offer for free beer if the president lost his life. He's got a ton of support when even the front row folding chairs at his announcement isn't filled. Feel the momentum. Breaking Kurt Bangstad, the far left owner of Minocqua Brewing Company, who has been arrested multiple times, wanted Trump to be taken out, is now running for governor. The state of the Democrats in Wisconsin. Any comment, Wisconsin Dems? You guys going to donate to his scam PAC or what? Would not be surprised if some people did. The Wisconsin Democrats are unhinged, and Bangstad is a perfect example of their base. And this poses a problem for them because other Democrats are defending Bangstad. Here's the Heartland Post. 8th Congressional District Democrat banned trans candidate from speaking at convention following post defending Minocqua Brewing Company owner Kurt Bangstad and his comments on the attempt on Donald Trump's life. President Trump won Wisconsin in 2024. Republicans control both chambers of the state legislature, while the Democratic Party, both nationally and in-state, move further left. Voters are not going to follow them. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. He's going to destroy his business almost definitely in this. He's going to burn whatever little money he has, and it's absolutely backfiring on him. Yes, he's getting likes on his Facebook page from weirdos, but that's not who keeps his business open. Here's his Yelp reviews. 1 star. I wonder how that's going. He's getting slammed. High Democratic Party of Wisconsin. They're putting here, Milwaukee FBI investigating Minocqua Brewing Company. This guy, I mean, he's got 1 star on Yelp. He's got 1 star on Facebook. Democrats don't like him. Republicans don't like him. Instead, he wants to triple down and be like, his whole thing now is cheering for the death of Republicans. I don't really understand how that's a sustainable business model, because ultimately, yes, you will have, 5%, 6% of these like unhinged leftists who are supporting this stuff. But he's falling into the same trap that a lot of Republicans do with this online stuff. He's like, well, I got 2,000 likes on my, I hope Rudy Giuliani dies thing. Wait, what was it? He got 6,000 likes. Those people must vote for me. These people must be voting for me. These people don't even live in your state, bro. People in Wisconsin are making fun of you. Like, it's so wild to me that he thinks this is a winning strategy. And he keeps doubling and tripling down on these disgusting posts. It's not going to end well for him. Again, here you have this too.
Meet Amanda Harlow, a residential life and housing administrator at Beloit College in Wisconsin. Amanda made a post online expressing how she supports a far-left beer company that hopes President Trump gets killed. Here she is pictured alongside Tony Evers, the Democrat governor of Wisconsin. These radical leftists have completely infested our country's higher education.
They have. And people are calling for her to be fired too. This guy is a lunatic, and internet likes are just making it worse. They're encouraging his insanity. Please, if you're in Wisconsin or you know anybody in Wisconsin, make sure they get out and vote for Tom Tiffany. The local elections are going to be an absolute hilarious garbage show for the Democrats of far leftoid lunatics that simply will not relate to any real people in Wisconsin. But I hope he keeps doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down so I can just keep making fun of him. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to your comments. Let's see here. Upload that. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, Tom Tiffany, I did an interview with him. He seems pretty based. Like, he seems pretty cool. And, like, did you hear Scarlett Johansson supposedly came out saying some base stuff? I have not. Let's look it up. Let us look it up. We've got the next story coming up here. Jordan Peterson update. I wish Rumble had native 144 streaming source. Interesting. Yeah, have they fixed the bandwidth stuff? Like a lot of people said that like when they were streaming, like it was gobbling up a lot of bandwidth. Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't been arrested longer. Free beer for Trump's death. I think it's close. It's close to a call for action, but I don't think it really is. I don't really think that it's technically, I don't think it's really a call for action. That's at least, you know, that's my opinion. I have got to go let Huck out real quick, and then we'll talk about this Jordan Peterson update. Come on, Huck. Let's go potty. Come on. Go on. Well, that's one drawback to the solo streams. Had to let the dog out. Nobody to hold it down while I'm gone. I should probably do like come up with some sort of like memes to play or something like that. All right, let's go here. All right. Try a quick shout out to a sponsor here. Ready to level up your game? Aim Controllers is where custom meets unbeatable value. And right now, it's the best deal of the year. We start with official Sony and Xbox controllers, fully compatible with console and PC, no functionality lost. Then you go wild with the custom features, smart bumpers, paddles, grips, stick height, custom buttons, even design your own PS5 snap panels. And here's the part no one else is doing. A lifetime warranty on all modified parts. That's right, lifetime. No other company. What other company does that exactly? Normally a fully loaded setup could run you $400, but during their one price promo, it's just $209 or €182 no matter how many features you add. Use code RUMBLE at checkout and lock it in. This is your sign. Go to aimcontrollers.com and build the last controller you'll ever need. So gamers, go check that out. Thanks for the shout out. All right, so let's go here. We've been following the kind of Jordan Peterson story a little bit at a time, and it feels like information is scant, but now his wife has spoken out, and it seems like the situation is worse than we thought. It's sad. It's you know, I pray for the guy. I have some thoughts about Jordan Peterson, but I want to get to the story itself first, and then I have some thoughts I want to share. Jordan Peterson's wife says he's in another realm of pain from his psychiatric medication injury. Now, we have heard from Jordan Peterson's daughter before, but we have not yet heard from his wife. And a lot of people feel some kind of way about the daughter. I don't know why, but you know, she lives her own life. She does her own thing, but they feel some kind of way about her, thinking, oh, she's, you know, grifting off her dad's health or whatever the case may be. I don't really know if I agree with that. I mean, I think Jordan Peterson has kind of entrusted his daughter to be his spokesperson while he's fighting all of this. Famed psychologist Dr. Jordan Peterson is suffering medication-induced neurological injury. We kind of know that, but he now has no plans to return to the public eye, his wife said Monday in an interview with the New York Post. Dr. Peterson is at home with family and helpful companions. He is not talking about going back to work yet. Tammy Peterson told the Post, adding that her husband feels as if he's in another realm of pain. His mornings are brutally painful and discouraging for him. Later, much later in the day, he sometimes feels some relief. Ms. Peterson continued, the damage done from the psych medications from over 6 years ago takes patience, time, and loving attention. Dr. Peterson has a well-documented history of medical struggles tied to his use of benzos. His family had previously drawn attention to the severe difficulties he experienced during his withdrawal. And Miss Peterson recently said her husband has developed tardive dyskinesia, a chronic movement disorder characterized by intense, relentless, and compulsive need to move, a known side effect of stopping dopamine antagonist medications. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't, I feel like if his withdrawal symptoms are so bad, then why don't they put him back on them? Is that a crazy thing to say? Like, at some point, you're trying to fight the good fight of getting off these pills or whatever, form that they, whatever form that they have to do. But if the withdrawal is that bad, is it maybe the lesser of two evils? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I hope if he's in like this level of pain that they're saying, another level of pain like he's never seen or whatever the case was, whatever she said, don't we think maybe you should put them back on it? I don't know. It's odd. His family has previously drawn attention to the difficulties he experienced during withdrawal. Ms. Peterson has said that side effect, there are many testimonials written by people who have suffered from psych medication damage, she told the Post. The medical industry will have to face this evidence and take steps to protect the public from it. Now, I think these kind of prescriptions are probably over-prescribed in the same way like painkillers are. In the same way that painkillers are, it's just not helpful. Now, Ms. Peterson also disclosed that her husband has suffered from sepsis while recovering from pneumonia in Switzerland. Why is he always going to all these foreign countries to get medical help too? I don't want to dogpile on his daughter because I feel like, hey, she probably wants the best for her dad. But he went to Russia the one time, then he went to Switzerland another time. I don't think money, people say maybe it's cheaper, but that doesn't matter. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't think that money is why he's always going to these foreign countries. Last month, the psychologist's daughter, Michaela Peterson, posted an emotional video, which we all know. Michaela, who's also pregnant again, it's been hellish, she said in the video. Dr. Peterson did not immediately respond to comment. Now, if we go to the New York Post article, this was published on May 4th, Monday. Inside Jordan Peterson's brutally painful illness, his wife reveals he's suffering serious side effects from benzo withdrawal. So this is a new, kind of a new interview, a new insight. Tammy Peterson says her husband, author, and podcast superstar Jordan Peterson is suffering from a neurological injury, which has taken him out of the spotlight. The clinical psychologist and young man whisperer stepped away from recording his popular YouTube show and podcast, recently prompting many questions from fans. His family told the Post he is primarily suffering from a neurological injury from previously taking psychiatric medications. Now, this isn't new, but if he's in this crazy level of pain, is there no relief? Is there nothing we can do? People should pray for him, but I don't really know, what exactly, he's got infinite money. He has infinite resources. He can go all over the country or all over the world to get whatever medication he needs. He still can't beat it. She said, Dr. Peterson is at home with family with help and helpful companions, Tammy reported. His mornings are brutally painful and discouraging for him. Much later in the day, sometimes he feels relief. Peterson had been taking Klonopin when his wife, Tammy, had been diagnosed with kidney cancer in 2019. Getting off the medication caused nightmarish withdrawal syndromes. But this was 7 years ago. 7 years ago. I guess nerve damage is extremely difficult to treat, and it's just so much worse than I think anyone really had any idea. You know, according to Tammy, Dr. Peterson developed this disease. The damage done from psych meds from over 6 years ago takes patients' time, loving attention. We know this much. According to Tammy, benzo medication should only be used in life-saving cases. Again, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. In 2022, Dr. Peterson spoke with podcaster Joe Rogan about the process of trying to get off the medication. I was in excruciating pain for 2 years, like pain levels I didn't even know was possible. I think we have a clip here of that. Here he talks about it.
I didn't know what a motherfucker it was until I talked to a friend from these.
Very recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And when did they start being handed out?
20 years ago.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
More.
So what happened? People just stayed on them?
Often.
I have one good friend that takes it every day and takes it oftentimes with alcohol, which I know you're absolutely not supposed to do. There's not a damn thing I can do about it. This is a friend that I love to death, and I put my hands up and I go, there's nothing I can do.
Because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. I don't know. I still really don't know what happened to me.
You couldn't sleep, and so an anti-anxiety medication. Do you think that this is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. This is why I brought up the fame.
So this is 4 years ago when he talked about that. The Mail reported Jonathan Pragu, a religious influencer and Peterson family friend, described Peterson as overwhelmed with pain and discomfort after only brief periods of conversation. Good days look like struggle and pain, but he's still capable of taking walks, working on projects, and having good conversations, just with difficulty and never for long. Bad days are constant pain. He struggles to focus on anything and lapses into discouragement and despair. Tammy, in speaking with the Post, also dispelled a rumor that Dr. Peterson experienced sepsis as a side effect of stem cell treatments performed by a celebrity doctor. In reality, she said he never received stem cell infusions from this doctor. A localized stem cell injection in his elbow he got from a doctor in 2023 never caused any side effects. Instead, the sepsis Dr. Peterson experienced was acquired while in the ICU in Switzerland, where he was being treated for pneumonia. This is a rumor that detracts from the actual issue at hand, which is his acacia. I should really learn how to pronounce that. Tammy added, she spoke with the Post after a salacious article drummed up rumors about her husband's health status. She called the report, her husband is hauled up in a $50 million estate, clickbait and untrue. The Peterson family lives in Paradise Valley, Arizona, and is originally from Canada. The Mail has also suggested that Dr. Peterson's lifelong embrace of unconventional thinking may be coming at a cost to his health, and it took a hit to the couple's daughter, Michaela Peterson, for her non-traditional medical views. Michaela and her father had taken a red meat-only diet, purported health benefits. I know a lot of people that have, I don't know if it's specifically red meat, but I know there are a lot of people who have done, the carnivore diet, so to speak. And I don't know that any of them have suffered like any kind of crazy, I'm not endorsing it because I'm not a doctor. I tried it for a little while and I just got tired of it. Like I was just too weak, I guess. Like I was like, oh, I need the carbs or whatever the case is. But he's experiencing these symptoms so he could go under a radical detox induced via coma. Tammy says her husband is not planning to come back to work, even as the group he co-founded, Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, plans their third annual conference in London next month. He's not even talking about going back to work now, noting he feels as he's in another realm of pain. He misses the opportunity to weigh in on societal issues. There are people who said, I've gone through benzo withdrawals, but since I was a low dosage, I had just about 3 days of symptoms, the worst being insomnia. There were also psychological effects like feeling impending doom and generalized fear. It will last about 3 days until I started taking the benzo again. Just like with these painkillers, there needs to be, I would hope, some level of responsibility from the doctors who are handing these things out. I don't understand. I don't really understand. You know, like there needs to be some level of, in the same way that we talk about like the trans stuff, all these doctors that force, you know, gender affirming care on people. These doctors that are getting people hooked on painkillers or benzos and ruining their lives, they have no real repercussions for that. And it's extremely sad. And that's not how it should be. You shouldn't be able to ruin someone's life and then hide behind your medical degree. You know, people, of course, are mad at Jordan Peterson's daughter, grifting. I think they genuinely love their dad, and people are asking about him because a lot of people want Jordan Peterson's voice back, because the people that filled the void that Jordan Peterson used to fill are essentially looks maxers and, like, you know, Israel obsessed people. Young men have now, you know, gone to that. Instead of cleaning their room, they're getting involved in breaking their noses for maximum looks and what I'm getting on these stacks and drugs and all this kind of stuff. We need his voice back, and I'm hoping he comes out of this. But I mean, I'm going to pray for him. I think people should pray for him if they believe in that. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, and every new report just seems like it gets worse. Like I don't get the Jordan Peterson hate. The fact that he like had this like emotional stuff happen, the crying, that was all from the drugs. You know, that's, you know, I don't know why. I mean, I guess people they don't like his take on Israel. I didn't care for Jordan Peterson's, like, when he started talking about like anonymous demon trolls or whatever the case was. You know, like, that was weird. That stuff was weird. And you know, his kind of tangential approach to say that, you know, anonymity needs to be removed off the internet. That was not cool. But I mean, I think he's still an overwhelmingly good force. Still an overwhelmingly good force for good, I mean. I don't know. Do you think we'll ever see him back out there? I warned my youngest brother of the side effects of drugs. He takes peptides and steroids and other shit. Dude is 25. I'm almost 40. He doesn't listen to the old guy. Yeah. I have some friends that are kind of into that now, but what's a big fat guy going to tell somebody? I can't say nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like me going to someone and being like, hey man, you know, maybe you should drink a little less. I remember this sermon in church where he talked about like when you should confront people, when you should talk to people about stuff. And there were 3 like core tenets that they talked about. And one of them was kind of like, is it the right time? Is it the right message? And the third one I remember was, are you the right person? You know? So like when I look at, you know, I'm just not in a position to offer anybody health advice, you know, like, can't do it. But ultimately it would be, you know, you know, just because I don't follow the advice doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, you know. If Peterson can get through it, a lot of stoners will quit. I mean, do people take benzos? Like recreationally? I thought that, I thought that those are probably things that normally people get hooked on through valid prescriptions, but I could be wrong. Like, I could 1,000% be wrong. There seems to be a lot about Jordan's condition they're not telling us. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think he's way worse. I think he's way worse than anyone knows. What are your thoughts on the Rolex drops from Watch and Wonders 2026? Haven't seen them. Haven't seen them. I reserve like fancy watch purchases for like milestones, and that is, you know, a Rolex in today's market is not not good money. Xanax is definitely taken recreationally. Oh yeah, sure, you're right. That's true. I forgot to let the dog back in. Yeah, he's outside because the RO water guy's here. Rolex is kind of mid. Omegas are super Chad. Here's the problem. And I've got this next liberal story. I know people don't give a shit about watch talk, and you're probably just asking as a troll because people on the internet are really mad that I have a few nice watches. The problem is I love Omegas. I have 5 of them, I believe. The problem is they're too expensive and they don't hold their value like a Rolex. So like you could get a nice Omega and pay 10 grand for it. You will never get more than 3 grand for that watch. If you move on and you want to sell it. You pay 10 grand for a Rolex and you keep it in similar condition, you're going to get 8 grand for it, 9 grand for it when you want to sell it. And when you're spending that much money on a watch, like that shit kind of has to matter. The Rolex drops were mid. I thought they were doing a new Sky King or something like that. I'd like to have a Sky King one day. Just an old used one. Can you show them? Sure, I'd love to show all my watches so all the fucking losers on the internet can add it up and say, look how much money he spent on watches. I used to be able to share nice stuff. I used to be able to share, better, but I guess I can't anymore. Tissot, Belova, Citizen. Those are good. I have a Citizen. I don't have a Tissot. Aren't those super expensive? Like, aren't those super expensive? It's your money. Who cares how you spend it? I know. Well, about 500 people on the internet spend all day worried about it. I mean, they're literally spending all day in here. Like, thoughts on Tag? I think Tag makes good watches. I think Tag makes good watches. Tissot is about 1,000 average. Oh, okay. So, okay. Those aren't too bad. Any pack openings? I mean, I have a huge pile of stuff to do over the weekend, of packs to open over the weekend. And so you will see some new ones. I switched to more like top 5 content on that channel. It seemed to do better for whatever reason. I don't know why. Like the pack openings were just like tanking. Normally that stuff people actually like. Now, if somebody's asking because they want to calculate the dollars I spent on packs and make a whole video about it, that's probably who's asking. But if I was to watch, both of my hands would be fixed and strangling trolls. I'm definitely going to have more pack openings, but no more Pokemon packs. I haven't seen pack streams on my feed. I haven't done any. Let's see. All right, let's get to this next topic. I got my watch from Walmart for $13. Look, if you want a nice watch that even watch people will still strongly give you credit for, you know, a G-Shock. You can get G-Shocks very affordable, and they're nice watches. And you can get a lot of different kinds of them. And there are some iconic ones, and they're not very expensive. They're you know, I assume they probably have expensive versions, but G-Shock gets a lot of respect. Yeah. All right, let's get this next segment. We have an incredible meltdown here. Not only do we have a liberal who effed around and found out, but it's a liberal woman who has effed around and found out and uploaded a unhinged video. Again, completely devoid. Like, you know, all the memes of like women and responsibility, and they're like allergic, or it's like they're kryptonite, or whatever the case is. This is that video, and it's absolutely beautiful. On top of that, we have an update on recent firings. So, as it started with in the post-Charlie era, people started, I don't know if you'd call them cancel mobs or consequence. I mean, the left would call them consequence mobs. They started to go out and say, you know what, I'm going to report this person to their job. Let's see if they want to continue to employ this unhinged person who, you know, has, you know, who's wishing, you know, something bad happens to the president, or wishing something bad happens to, you know, Rudy Giuliani. And a lot of these companies, as it turns out, don't want those people working for them. They want them fired. In fact, there have been at least 3 confirmed firings that were reported last week alone. They were fired for involving posts expressing disappointment, you know, about the Trump assassin. We know Corian Baum, Ohio daycare early. Just a quick recap of the fires, then we're going to get to the video. Ohio Daycare Early Learning Center was fired. Teacher at Brightpath in the Cincinnati area fired. She posted a video lamenting that it wasn't that news about Trump surviving. Brightpath also stated her comments were deeply inconsistent with their values and terminated her. Allison King, social media manager, remember this one, United Healthcare / Optum in Minnesota, you know, probably people that, you know, should have some understanding about, you know, political assassinations, because their CEO was killed by Luigi Mangione in New York. She posted a TikTok video appearing to express sadness or mock that the attempt failed. Oh, they missed. United Healthcare confirmed the termination, also stating that violence is never acceptable, and any comments that suggest otherwise are in no way consistent was fired. Of course, Brian Keller, Senior Vice President, leader at Aspirus Health, also in Wisconsin. Interesting, it's Minnesota and Wisconsin people, also fired. He commented on a Facebook post about the incident while wearing an anti-Trump shirt. The post referenced the event in a way that was seen as celebratory. Aspirus CEO stated that social media activity did not align with their shirt. I mean, you have a senior vice president getting fired over a Facebook post. Are people completely incapable of understanding, like, hey, maybe I'll just, you know, keep this one to myself? There are other cases with the another Wisconsin school teacher on administrative leave and other stuff like that. Well, here we have social media manager for United Healthcare. So you remember, she was on that list. Now she's mad that she has consequences. So let's just take a look at this video.
I wasn't going to make a video about this because I genuinely want to move on with my life. But a few weeks ago, I made a stupid video about the president. The far right found it, posted it on Twitter.
Let's start right there. She did say that she made a stupid video. She did say that. She did accept that she herself made a stupid video and posted it on TikTok. But then immediately says, oh, well, the far right found it and posted it. Instead of saying, I posted a stupid video and I'm sorry, she's, again, allergic to consequences. You know, the reason you were fired is because of the video, not because the quote unquote far right posted it on social media.
And then got me fired from my job. I am already reaping the consequences of what I said. I lost my job in an economy that's already incredibly difficult, and I want to move forward. Do I regret what I said? Absolutely. I shouldn't have posted it on the internet. Okay.
Oh. Leave a like on the video if you're surprised. I am legitimately surprised that she said that she regrets it, but I wonder what facial expression experts would say about the eye roll right before she said she regrets it.
Of what I said. I lost my job in an economy that's already incredibly difficult, and I want to move forward. Do I regret what I said?
Right there. What do they say about looking up and to the left? What do people say about people who look up and to the left before answering a question? Doesn't that mean they're lying? I'm pretty sure that when you look up and to the left, that is a telltale sign of lying. I could be wrong about that. I think, I'm like not being sarcastic, I think that that's what it is. She only regrets that she got caught, by the way. Let's be very clear. This is like someone who cheated on her boyfriend and was like, do I regret cheating? Well, I wish he wouldn't have found out.
Absolutely. I shouldn't have posted it on the internet, okay? It was a joke. I do not condone violence, and I would never hurt anybody, okay? That being said.
Oh, okay. That being said. So the acknowledgement of the mess up is like a millisecond of the video. There's another 2 minutes left.
I just got a letter in the mail. They have an address on it, so I'm going to have to report it to the authorities. It's a picture of my house, and it says, Allison, how does it feel? You've been doxxed and karma, cause and effect is coming, with a smiley face.
I disavow that. That's not okay. I mean, she lost her job. It's, you know, she lost her job. That's the consequences. That stuff. Now, some people might say, oh, she's lying about it, blah, 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 blah. I don't condone this stuff. I mean, people do it to me. They think they're being really cool and hard and tough. It's not okay. If I say it's not okay when you do it to me, then it's not okay when you do it to some, you know, dumb lib woman, you know?
All I have to say is that we're living in an incredibly scary time. Please be careful what you post on the internet. People aren't insane. Again, I am already suffering the consequences of what I said and did, okay? I want to move forward. I want to move on. But these people are so vindictive, and they want to preach morality while sending me letters like this.
Okay. Here's the thing. Both people are wrong. Sending that letter is actually stupid, and it should be seen and viewed as a threat. And I don't actually know if it's illegal or not, to be honest with you. But if they were stupid enough to leave, you know, I'm sure they didn't use their actual real address, but they can always trace mail through where it gets scanned. It's very easy to trace mail. Okay. But instead of talking about like, I screwed up, she's just like, hey guys, look at this mean letter I got.
And while leaving hateful messages on my social media, calling me every name in the book, because of a stupid thing that I said about the President of the United States, who, number one, does not care about you, and number two, probably didn't even...
Here comes the double down. Here comes the double down. All right, I'm feeling less bad for her. Still, don't be... If she faked the letter, she faked the letter. I would have shown it if I were her. I would have shown it.
Even see what I said. He doesn't care. Somehow I am being held more accountable for something stupid I said on the internet than people who send stuff like this and the President of the United States who has been spewing violent rhetoric his entire presidency.
Oh, okay. Now I don't feel bad for her. Now I don't feel bad for her. I mean, look, first of all, she may have faked the letter. We don't know. Second of all, she should report it to the police. I think I would 1,000% support her sending that letter to police and asking for the post office to do a trace on the letter and figure out where it came from. They can usually figure it out pretty easily. We live in a surveillance world. You know, it's not that hard to figure out. But she just blew it. Instead of saying like, look, guys, I screwed up. I'm sorry. Could you please not? She's just doubling down and saying Orange Man bad. That's I mean, it's the literal, women and consequences allergy meme played out perfectly.
Presidential career. That's really it. I don't even know what to do. I want this to go away, but this is absolutely insane. And please be careful what you post on the internet, especially if you post political content. People are crazy. Go on the internet.
Girl, you posted that her post was set to play to other psychopaths to maybe go try it again. Her posts were also the dangerous posts that she's claiming are really bad. She should have did a 30-second video and been like, yep, stupid, idiot, I got fired. You guys are roasting me. That's fine. But can we not go too far? Can we not I try to say this to people who are currently making their entire lives about me, and it's very pathetic. Don't ruin your life over this. Don't do something stupid that's going to get you put in jail because you're mad at somebody on the internet. And I would say that to the left and the right. But she had every chance to just say, you know what, I'm I said something stupid. I regret it. I got fired. But can you please not? But she's not going to do that.
Internet right now and make sure that your address and your phone number is not on there, because I've seen people get doxxed for reposting an Instagram story about the president. That is all. Be careful, be safe, and again, I am moving forward with my life. Please leave me alone.
Well, that video is probably not going to do it. That video is probably not going to do it. It's probably, she had it in the first 30 seconds, but then turning around at the end and just basically admitting she actually wasn't sorry for what she did. And she's not mad. She doesn't accept anything that she did. She's just mad that people are mad at her. Could have had it. But instead, well, it went that way. Yeah, I'm not sure that the doubling down thing is great. All she had to do is apologize. Well, here's the thing. As somebody who is, dealing with online psychos right now, unfortunately, apologizing actually won't make them stop. They don't want an apology. They want control over your life. They want to feel like, the fact of the matter is they have no real power in their own lives. And so they want to feel like they can control something, control someone else. there is like the truth of it is she never should have apologized because she meant what she said anyway. Right? Terminally online weirdos will not leave you alone if you apologize. They'll say, oh, just apologize. Just apologize. All I want is an apology. They won't leave you alone. How long have these psychopaths been like ruining a guy's life like Darkside Phil? Some poor guy who streams to like a couple hundred people and like they have ruined his life. How many times do you think they told him, oh, you should just apologize? Like, this woman should not have apologized. She should have just went online and doubled down because that's what she did anyway. Yes, the goalposts keep moving. That's exactly right. Oh, you apologized? Well, but you didn't apologize how I liked it. You didn't apologize for this thing. Well, you apologized, but I don't think you meant it. You don't give these losers any control over your life. They think that they have control, right? They think that you're mad. They think, ooh, I got a couple dislikes on the video. That's going to epically destroy him. Doesn't matter. Dislikes on a Rumble video don't matter. It's not making it rank any less. It's pointless. So you just laugh at these retards. That's how you deal with them. They really, really, really want to think they matter, but they don't. Oh, look at it. He addressed us. Oh, just a crumb of attention. That's all I wanted. I waited 2 hours for a crumb of attention. I mean, dude, how pathetic are you? 2 hours you wait. 2 hours you wait for a crumb of attention. Like, what are you doing in your life? Go on. Like, go do something. Like, fucking go do something with your life. You have no effect on my viewership. You have no effect on the money I make. In fact, you make me more money. You have no effect on the videos I do or any of this stuff. Like, it is so weird. Like, you don't matter. It is sad. Your existence is pointless. The fact that you stay and watch means I get paid money when I do ad reads. You understand that, right? I make more money when you're here. It's so weird. I just want to watch OG MTG box and pack openings. I am doing some openings this weekend. I might do them tonight. I might actually do them tonight. I don't know. I had to set up a different setup to film the unboxings better, to film them in vertical format. So doing them as a live stream now is actually really hard. You know? That's the problem. All right, so I've got one more topic. Yeah, hate watching a show is weird. Doing it like once in a while, I think is fine. Like, I think everyone can indulge in that. But like, dude, we're weeks in. And you're still here? Like, Jesus, dude. Go out and touch grass. Like, it is so weird. But anyway. Another topic here. It's like people like, he's wearing makeup. That's how pathetic they've gotten. I'm not wearing, you know why I have dark under my eyes? It's because it's called, Google what is a shadow. Look, like here. Okay? There's no, like, these people are so weird. Like, look how dark his eyes are. It's because I'm wearing a ball cap inside. Like, you understand how shadows work, right? It's so weird. Like, I literally saw one of these retards tweet that I'm wearing makeup on my eyes because I'm totally affected by this. Like, what? Like, what? He's worried about the dark circles comments we make. Oh, he's wearing makeup. The reality, fact check, No, nobody cares. Bet you won't take your hat off? I've taken my hat off before. What are you talking about? It'd be fine if you were, but they want to. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. You go to like anywhere like the Blaze or any of these, like, they want to put makeup on you. Even when I was on Crowder, they're like, do you want to put powder on your face or something like that? I'm like, no. They're like, well, you won't look so shiny on camera. I'm like, what? No. And then I did look shiny on camera. So I should have probably taken the powder. When I went to the Blaze, they're like, you go to hair and makeup before you go on any one of their shows. Like, hair and makeup? Like, I'm good. I don't, like, I'm a 43-year-old married man. You think I give a shit? Like, like, where did you get that hat? Amazon, I think. Amazon, I believe. I don't know if Crowder wears makeup. I don't know. I'm saying I was offered it when I was there. Maybe they're like, hey, you know, he needs it. You know, maybe like he needs it. I can't say I saw Crowder in the makeup chair. Cannot confirm. What's his beef with Crowder? I don't have it. What are you talking about? I have no beef with Crowder. All right. Let's go here. I got this. Here's another like interesting kind of sad story. We've talked about Disney adults. We've talked about the Disney adult phenomenon before, and I don't really know. Like, I don't have a problem with adults going to Disney. I actually understand kind of the reasoning. It's like, hey, we couldn't afford it when I was young. I want to go. I don't think that makes you a quote unquote Disney adult. Or if you're someone who's like, and by the way, Disney adult is like someone who's there as an adult without kids, you know? If you're somebody who, you know, you went to Disney as a kid, you want to go back a couple times, I think that's fine. That doesn't make you a Disney adult. Disney adults are people that go there every week, every day, all the time, right? And now they're going into debt. Are Disney adults the happiest debtors on earth? For the Walt Disney Company's most loyal fans, the pursuit of magic comes with a 5-figure credit card bill. Now, if you want to know why Disney has gotten so expensive, it's actually Disney adults' fault. You might say, Jeremy, well, that's not a fair thing to say. Well, it's true. It's the fault of the Disney adult because the Disney adult has more expendable income, so they're willing to pay more money for a lot of stuff. They're willing to pay more money for stuff. And the more Disney adults that there are, the more they can charge and not worry about like losing their customers. You know, losing the park stays at max capacity. People want escapism now more than ever. And when you talk about the loneliness epidemic that is real in this country, you talk about the stress and anxiety problem in this country that is real. It's no wonder that you end up, you know, seeing people wanting to revert to kind of a childhood place and go to a place like Disney and not feel good about themselves for a little bit. The problem is that they're going into exceedingly high debt. This is a story that came out just 2 days ago. In 2023, Ashley, a freshman at Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, had $15,000 in her bank account. That's pretty good for a college kid. Excited by her newfound freedom as a college student, she decided to start going on solo trips. Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, a place she liked to fall in love in as a child and fall in love for the first time. She first went during winter break. She then returned 6 times in 2 years. That's 3 times a year. That's too much. Now, if you live in Orlando, I'm going to guess like You know, if you live around the area, you go 3, 4, 5 times a year. I don't think that's crazy. You're probably not going into crazy debt either. It's just so magical, she explained. It keeps drawing me back. Soon enough, her account balance had dwindled to just $5. Last year, Ashley landed a job with the Disney College Program, a semester-long internship during college, which students and recent grads serve at every entry-level roles throughout the parks. For around $400 a week, her salary, after Disney deducted rent for her company-sponsored housing, she worked as a PhotoPass photographer, taking pictures of guests as they enjoyed various attractions. One of the perks of being in the program was that she had free access to Disney World when she wasn't on the clock, so she'd often hang around in the park, spending liberally on food and merchandise. She collects Disney pins. As a result, a lot of the money went straight back to Disney. She also spent more than what she was earning, accumulating roughly $1,000 in credit card debt, which she had to ask her parents to help pay off. So-called Disney adults have become the subject of online fascination, with many people now questioning how much it costs to be one. Almost 2 million people have watched a single video posted in November 2025 in which a YouTuber asked Disney visitors how much debt they have. It is a genre of content that has become more popular recently, with critics seizing on it and evidence that Disney obsessed are not only culturally but financially bankrupt. In June of 2024, the loan comparison website LendingTree surveyed more than 2,000 Americans that found that almost a quarter of Disney visitors had gone into debt for the trip. Now, look, there's different levels of going into debt for a trip. For example, if you want to say, I put the trip on my credit card and I paid it off, I don't really view that as crazy, like going into debt for the trip. Like I view that as, well, you put it on your credit card, you paid it off in 2 months or whatever. I'm talking about long-term debt that I'm mostly worried about. More than 2,000 Americans found that a quarter of Disney visitors have gone into debt for the trip. According to a survey, Gen Zers like Ashley were the most likely to take on Disney debt, which corresponds with a boom in young adults visiting the park either by themselves or with friends their age, despite Disney World being a place stereotypically catering to families. Still, a high percentage of Disney debtors are parents. Among the 77% of survey respondents who said their children have visited the park, 45% reported going into debt for the trip, with parents of young children owing an average of almost $2,000. Anecdotally, the figures shared in forums on social media can climb much higher. One couple told a YouTuber last year, for instance, that they had taken out a $70,000 loan, partly for Disneyland trips. $70,000 for Disney trips. I don't understand even how that happens. I'm guessing that they're probably people who are, they probably had other levels of debt, almost certainly. 77. I almost thought that was 7. I'm sorry, 70,000. I thought that said 7,000. I was going to react that way. Racking up debt on vacation isn't totally new. According to a 2025 survey, nearly 30% of American travelers expected to go into debt to fund their travel plans. But AJ Wolf, the author of Disney Adults Exploring and Falling in Love with a Magical Subculture, argues that Disney debt is distinct. For some of the most loyal parkgoers, there's an addictive, almost competitive aspect to it. This is partly because of the merchandise collecting. There are people who just need that souvenir, the next item in their collection of bags or ears, she said. In addition to status seeking in the Disney community, she believes that there is a hierarchy of both collectors and visitors, so that people feel compelled to return to the park to impress others and earn their, quote, elder status. I compare it a lot like church. Wolf has her own experience of giving too much money to Mickey Mouse. 20 years ago, she was in her mid-20s living on Staten Island and working as a nonprofit grant writer in Manhattan. She was feeling jaded and started medicating with Disney, as she put it. During her daily commute to the Staten Island ferry, she would read Disney guidebooks and think about her next visit. That's what I live for, she said. Disney World was the opposite of New York City. It was clean, sanitized. There were no surprises except good surprises. She took more than 10 Disney trips in 5 years and went $17,000 into debt. I needed to go to a space where I wouldn't have to think, and I was willing to pay for that. I don't really know like, if you're viewing Disneyland as some form of therapy, I don't really, I don't understand it. I want to have some level of grace for these people because they're very clearly like, you know, they're dealing with some things. But I think they probably need mental health care more than they need Disney trips. Ashley is another one of them. I literally will have something Disney on every day, she told me over Zoom. She was wearing a Disney shirt, Disney watch band, Disney necklace. It was part of my personality. At night, she pulls up music that plays Disney resort hotel rooms on YouTube and listens to fall asleep. Ashley is about to graduate, and she's planning to move to Florida this summer, partly for the warmth, but mainly to be closer to Disney World. She wants another job with the company and hopes her past trips will set her apart from other applicants. Jennifer Davidson, a woman in Columbus, Ohio, describes herself as a mild Disney adult. She doesn't have any merchandise, but she works extra gigs. The family currently has more than $3,000 worth of credit card debt after booking their next trip to Disneyland, which is scheduled for August. We only have so many years. They still want to be princesses, and they still believe in magic, Davidson said of her daughters. You capture that moment while you have it, and we can manage debt right now. Davidson told me her family's most recent trip in September necessitated $5,000 in credit card debt. They have since been able to pay that off, but Davidson said they've accumulated interest on Disney debt in the past that was very stressful. The going $70,000 in debt to go to Disney is to me, I don't actually think it's like church with the elder status stuff that they're talking about. I think it's more like a casino. Like if you go to the casino, you get different, levels of card the more you play. They send you more and more merchandise. They send you more and more free stuff. There's more and more, reasons to go back. The fear of missing out. These are things that I more closely associate with Disney adults. It's an addiction. And I think like she said, she's well aware of the hate that Disney adults get sometimes on the internet. She cautioned against dismissing a pastime because of how much it costs or that the debt it might bring. I'm not going to criticize someone else's hobby just because it's expensive. If you take away the hobby, you'll take away part of my life. It'll be like taking candy from a child. Well, that's kind of a self-own. I struggle because I want to understand. People have hobbies. Hey, if you're into bow hunting, how much does a new bow cost? Couple $1,000s. You're into fishing. How much does high-end, fishing equipment cost? Couple $1,000s. If you're into, if you're into RC cars, that can cost thousands of dollars. Hobbies can cost thousands of dollars, and I do think, going to Disney is probably a horrible. I would put it on par with giving your money to the casino. It's probably as bad. But at least you get something out of it. You go to the casino and you lose money, you get nothing out of it. You get germs from all the sick people around you. You get crappy casino food that isn't even free. At least if you're going to Disney, if you go to Disney, you kind of have fun. You have good memories. You have, some stuff. But it is very interesting to me. If people are willing to go into, $70,000 in debt to go to Disney, I think we have a problem. I don't know. Let me know what you think. All right. I think with that, we'll wrap up today's stream. We'll be back tomorrow with Melanie for Astrocast. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful afternoon. And we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe I'll see you tonight with some pack openings. I'm not sure yet.